super short lecture. Because due today are your pitch decks. This is just, we're trying to get your ideas out there and give you guys some feedback on your ideas. Um, but next assignment is you're taking your 3 ideas, okay, selecting one. Okay, so the goal between now and your storyboards, the next assignment, is whittle down to a single idea. This is going to be where my project is going. Sometimes it's just selecting, yep, it's going to be that one. Sometimes it's a mashup. I'm going to take these 3 ideas, put them into one. Hopefully that'll happen through feedback on your pitch decks. But we are moving to storyboard phase. Okay, so storyboards are basically when you are creating a visual outline of your project. I'm not going to go really far into depth in creating storyboards because there is a ton of information, including applications, on building storyboards that you can find online. Just go to YouTube, search create storyboards. You're going to find all kinds of stuff. Okay. I am definitely not asking you guys to go super in depth on the creativity. Some of us can draw like crazy. Let's see here. I want to go to a screen capture here really quick. Share screen, share. Okay, there we go. Mainly because great storyboards are not necessarily amazing drawings. Okay, that's J.J. Abrams. He kind of does well for himself in Hollywood. You can argue the last Star Wars movie, kind of sucking, but Force Awakens, if you're like nuts if you don't think it was a great movie, it was really cool. That is his initial storyboard for BB-8. Okay, they do not have to be great drawings. What they have to do is communicate well. Okay, so what I'm going to walk you through, and this is one of those don't necessarily do as I do, try and do as I'm saying moments, because I'm going to share some of my stuff with y'all so you can see where this is headed. So the Thorn Crown project, which is in your list of things, these are my storyboards for this, and these are storyboards, the formatting, the color palette, all that stuff. Please avert your eyes, okay? It's not good, it's not pretty. It was designed to fold into a much larger package of stuff that was happening in medical VR at the time. At least that's my excuse. But I want to buzz through these really quickly so you can get an idea of what I'm anticipating, so that you can sort of begin to work your brain around the creation of this doc immersion visually. Okay, so starting with a treatment. Okay, a treatment is basically your synopsis. What is the big picture that I'm trying to achieve? Okay, and by the way, if you look on 532 resources and lectures, oh, I thought I linked it in there. Maybe I didn't. Assignments. Oh, good. Yeah, I did. That's compare. So this is my storyboards, and that's the final product. Okay. So do want you to do a quick comparison between these two things so you can kind of see how things are playing out. So your treatment is the quick synopsis, right? So it's a really short written statement. This is your commitment. This is what I'm building. Okay. Next, in terms of what I needed to do, I broke it down into 3 sections. Okay, literally, what's being said first, my VO or voiceover. Okay, next, a description, written description, and then finally a visual description. I do not necessarily need that much information. I'm going to leave that up to you in terms of how you break these down. We do need at least 2, right? A description, which could include your voiceover, and a visual. Okay, how I would build these. Now, if you are a pro in Illustrator or InDesign, or you have some other format that you want to use, you can certainly do that. What I would do is I would go into your Google Sites, and I would use this little template right here, or this one right here, right? This allows you to bring in an image, create a description. Bring in an image, create a description. This one, arguably even better. Single image, single description. Okay, it's a perfect format to build these. Okay, let's continue on with this piece. Okay, so this is scene 1, shot 1, soft opening. Okay, so pretty much everybody should begin with something that resembles a soft opening, right? So a soft opening is, unlike a James Bond film where it throws you into an action sequence, if you do that in VR, unless you have seasoned VR professionals watching, you are basically going to make somebody throw up. And I shouldn't say basically, I should just say you will make somebody throw up, period. Okay? VR is completely saturating, so imagine waking up and then being dropped into an automobile traveling 120 miles per hour like that. Okay? You cannot do that to people. You have to slowly bring people into the world you're creating. Okay? Because essentially our target audience is going from a hospital bed into the world that you're designing. If you make that too jarring, really negative consequences happen. Okay? And those are really real negative consequences happen. So think soft opening. How do we slowly fold somebody into the world that you're designing? For my idea on Thorncrown, I think most of you have probably visited Thorncrown by now, right? Its construction was the concept in terms of my opinion on it. And that's really what I wanted to share in the documentation that I was creating for it, right? So I really wanted to make this about how a building is built in the forest. So the storyboards then really evolve through this idea of construction and what a construction concept is happening in the forest, including looking, okay, why was this not built with great big beams, great big structural members? You know, it was not, it doesn't make sense to bring in huge mechanical equipment, things like that. So the idea is building within the forest. I looked at this idea of what happens with materiality and all these different concepts, all of which got dropped, by the way. As I changed the storyboard into an animatic, it was super boring, especially from the lens of an 8 to 18-year-old. So I was like, yeah, screw that. We're not going to do it. And those things weren't evident to me when I was doing the storyboards, right? But it's really important to have those as an archive, as an idea. But you have to be critical of these as you're developing. What makes sense, what doesn't? Just because it seems like a good idea, as it starts to play out in motion and in VR, a lot of times that stuff gets dropped. Looking at, utilizing materials on site, so stones become foundations and footings. How does a space, scale and proportion evolve? Again, that got dropped. It was stupid. Seemed good at the time. We had this amazing idea of picking up parts and building your own truss, which we unfortunately couldn't pull off at the time. We just didn't have the technology chops available to do it. But how that plays out then, I think I dropped that. I didn't drop it. It's because it's on here. So the soft opening, this isn't the soft opening. This is me saying put on a VR headset. So the soft opening really was something, and this is something I'm not sure I expect you guys to do.
Design is an expression.
But I used Silvercroft to sketch three-dimensional trusses in this VR world. Talking about how architects create and what we do. And slowly, so this is my idea of sort of this slow immersion into this world. And if you've ever had any work video while I was drawing art, so I have to put a curve in there. And this sort of goes from that very still, stagnant world into all of a sudden the world starts to live and breathe. Right? So again, it's this idea of slow immersion. That moves into an understanding of the site. One of the key things that did come through legacy-wise was an understanding of
the common building process of clearing the site.
Site clearing, right? So heavy machinery, all this stuff, what it looks like. That goes into a slow breakdown of the construction of Thorncrown, starting with columns, moving to the enclosure, and then moving to different ways to visualize the interior space. Cool. So it wasn't just, and nor should your projects be simply looking at this as, here it is, take a look, isn't it cool? What's the project about? How can I lead something through it in an immersive field? Right? That's what you're starting to resolve in the storyboard. Right? How would you diagram it? How would you convey the concept? How would you create shots? Thinking about using a camera, but in this case, it's a camera that shoots 360, right? Where would you place a camera into a space that conveys the architectural ideas? Okay, so if we go back, pause this. If we go back and look at the assignment, there's a couple of important things that I have listed. First of all, it's the 10% of your grade. That's an important thing, right? A storyboard is visual written comic book style guide to your DocImmersion frame. Your storyboard should be presented on your website as a series of images. Any combination of hand-drawn and digital is totally fine. These could be totally hand-drawn. They could be totally digital. Again, what I did on these storyboards, definite combination of both. You know, for me, I am very much addicted to Procreate and my iPad. These were digital snapshots of scenes that I was already building and testing, brought into Procreate and then drawing over the top of them. Okay, use whatever technique is quick for you, right? Because you need to spend more time thinking than doing on this. But you need to communicate really clearly so that we can help you move your ideas along, okay? Include both a written description of your shot combined with tonal palette, soundscape, and voiceover. Okay, so you're starting to narrow things down. If you notice, I did not include anything about tonal palette here. Which I should have, but it's non-existent here. You can tell by sort of the color palette that I chose to present this in where it was going, and that is sort of a natural warm tones, right? And I tried to carry that through on Thorncrown. At some point, I should have committed to that in writing or visually. Okay, I'm asking you guys to do that. Make sure you do that. This is the tonal palette, and this is why. Okay. Because again, you are saturating your viewer with whatever you're designing. So you need to understand where that's going. Consider if your target time for the DocImmersion is 7 to 12 minutes. Each VR shot should play out over 15 to 30 seconds. So your total number of storyboards is going to be somewhere in that 12 to 20 storyboards, right? This amount of time, it's usually like 5 scenes, right? So if you're thinking about this in terms of software, you probably have like 5 versions of Twinmotion that are building 5 specific shots that have 2 or 3 specific actions within each shot that you're trying to convey. It's a really good way to think about it if you're approaching it from a software standpoint, right? But mainly, you're somewhere. This shouldn't be. I don't need a storyboard for every 3 seconds. If you want to, sure. But it should be, your target should be somewhere 20 or less. 15 to 20, something like that, is right about on target for these. Because again, VR, the pacing of VR is nowhere close to the speed that pacing for television or film is. It has to play out in a much slower, more thoughtful kind of way. Okay, so you're thinking big moments. What's the key points of the story, the narrative that I'm trying to build? I'm going to make a key point here, and then I'm going to bring you down, help you relax, and then I'm going to bring another key point here, and then bring you down and help you relax. Then I'm going to bring, here's where the sound, the score swells. I'm bringing out all the emotion. This is the climax to the story, to the narrative. This is the key point that I want you to walk away with, right? Really be thinking about that. How does a movie play out? That is exactly what we're doing in this class, right? When do you have to hand somebody the Kleenex in VR and like have them wipe their eyes? Cool. So those are the examples. That is the movie for Thorn Crown that I built, as well as the written descriptions and the storyboards for you to take a look through. I do not have a due date yet for this one. I want to get through the pitch decks. We'll see where we're at, but I definitely want you guys to get rolling on that. The other things that go along with that, 3 websites that I have listed for right now that are going to be key to your existence. Not so much for storyboard phase yet, but things that you should be looking at. Okay, those are Zapsplat, APM, and Quixel. Okay, I think all of you know Quixel, right? So Quixel is a company that Epic Games purchased. Quixel is going to be your very best friend in this. It is what is going to take, especially your sites, from being fairly bland landscapes and things like that to being like truly immersive, like I'm standing on the side of a cliff kind of thing, right? So really get to know Quixel. Well, you should have a mastery of Quixel for sure this semester, and really understand how to utilize it as a source, both for textures and for 3D objects. Zapsplat. Zapsplat is exactly what it sounds like. Okay? Because it seems appropriate. Sneeze. Search for it. Air, gassy sneeze like fart. Yeah, that's disgusting. Every kind of sound effect you can think of is on Zapsplat. People upload them and share them. It's free. You have to credit the sounds that you've used whenever you create a product with it. But it is like, I mean, it's got everything there. There you go. Nice. Good timing. Yeah, it seemed appropriate. Thought it was. Thunder. You can search. You put things in. You'll need to create an account to log in on it. Come on. I don't know. Internet down here is no good. Oh yeah, it's going. You guys can kind of hear it, right? It's awesome. We use it all the time. If we don't have the exact sound effect that we're looking for, a lot of times we'll double up, triple up sounds, and I'll be showing you guys how to do that, how to do sound mixing in this class in your video editing to make original sounds out of sounds from Zapsplat. Still need to credit it. We're still sourcing it. And of course, you can go and use your phone to do stuff as well and capture sounds. But yeah, this is like, there's a lot of times there's not time to do that kind of stuff. Okay, and not everything's great on here, but again, that was a search for Thunder, and there are, let's see here, yeah, at least 3 pages, 20 per page on this. So you should be able to find what you're looking for pretty quickly on this. The last one, this is the most important one for you guys to start diving into now, and this is APM Music. So APM is a music licensing platform which Drury owns a subscription to, right? So this is essentially royalty. I would say royalty. It's not royalty free because we pay for syncing rights to use everything from APM's library. Okay, I will not be sharing Drury's login to APM Music with you. So the process of doing this is, as you select different scores that you want to use, you will be able to send those to me, and you need to be really precise. I'm going to cover that here in just a second. You'll send it to me. I will log in. I will download. I will send you the MP3. Cool? And there's a bunch of y'all, so it's going to take me some time to do it. But as long as this has a Drury header on it, as long as this is being used by your Drury University, we have the rights to use everything on here. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't use something else that's royalty free. YouTube, although they've kind of put it behind a couple of walls now, YouTube has a massive library of sounds and scores that you can use also. But in general, you have to dig really, really hard to find something good off of YouTube's sound stuff. Whereas APM, this is really high quality, really high level professional stuff. Somebody give me some feels for music. Okay, hip hop, West Coast hip hop. There we go. This will always be fun because you never know what's going to play. Yeah, you will not find something that good on YouTube, and that's kind of meh. Let's do another one. Okay, it's yeah. You can argue your taste in music. Main thing is you're not going to find stuff this quality really anywhere else that we have free access to. Okay, so what you can't do is say, oh no, I'm going to be, let's date myself really well. I'm going to be using Beastie Boys. Okay, because you have to fight for your right. No, you're not, because it's going to have Jury's label on it, and we don't own the rights to use Beastie Boys, right? We do with APM. We can distribute it, we can send it out, we can sync it with your project, okay? Thousands of things in here, right? If I do something more orchestra, movie, score, yeah, I mean, it's all on here, y'all. It's all on here. Really cool. I am not logged in. Okay, so you do not need to be logged in to search their entire catalog. So what you're going to be doing is, if you're like, this is my score, it's perfect, it fits exactly what I wanted, you are going to make sure that you highlight, oh dear, or type or something, or maybe it's send. No, not that. I'd say type it out exactly. I thought I could highlight the text. But that's what you need to send me. Okay? A lot of these, what you're going to find is, let's see if I can do this really quick. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. Track info. That's probably where you can copy it. Yep. You will find alternate versions, sometimes with vocals, sometimes without vocals, different musical scores. A lot of times you will find one that is one track off of 5 or 6 tracks that work as an album. So you can find variations on a theme, which can work really, really well, so that you can have intro music, middle, right, of your doc immersion, and then something that brings you to a close. So look for that as well. It doesn't have to be a single MP3 that you're grabbing from APM. It can be several different things. What you don't want to do, again, is be super jarring. Like, I'm going to take somebody out of this and shove them into that. It'll be great fun. Okay? So start digging into that. And I say that now, it takes 2 to 4 weeks to find the right music. For sure. Okay, you won't be incorporating the music yet. I'm not looking for that yet on your storyboards, but you still need to be finding out like what fits with what I'm trying to do. Cool? Questions on the next assignment. Let me go into pitch decks. I'm about 10 minutes over where I wanted to be. Sorry. Zoomies, questions? Cool. I am closing the Zoom. I'm going to stop the screencast.